Hey, I'm Casey.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is
Magnum B.I, the true crime podcast where we add a social justice commentary, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of banter, and poison, apparently, because I have rat poisoning.
So Lauren is starting a new plague. Do you want to tell the story?
So, as we've discussed previously, I have rats, and when
by choice, not like an infestation.
They're my babies. Their names are Moose and Peanut, and I went away for spring break for like a week, and when I got back, I went to pet Moose, and he bit me out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, Grumpy Pants, good to see you too. And it healed in half a day, and then I forgot about it until 2 days later when I came down with a crazy fever and woke up the next morning with track marks. So I have sepsis. Yay! No, it's scary, but
that's so scary.
I'm just thankful that I'm okay and I have antibiotics and this isn't the 1920s or something and I'm dead. So that would be scary.
Literally. I'm upset that you're on antibiotics though, because then you can't come out with me tonight.
I know. I wish I could binge drink, but I don't want to die.
It's okay. I would rather you not binge drink in this situation.
Well, even imagine how much better it's going to be next time. I'll have to make up for lost time.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, you'll need less. It'll be good. Well, I'm glad you're healthy.
Me too.
Very glad.
I'm just chilling. I'm excited about this week's case. It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be frustrating.
Okay.
More than anything.
Okay.
You know I like an unsolved case.
Mm-hmm.
As I've done. This is my third
yep.
one now.
Yep.
But this one is probably the most frustrating because each theory has like a big hole. It's not like you can pick a theory and run with it because there's a lot of things you have to work around.
Okay.
And of course, it comes from the queen of crime herself, Dame Agatha Christie.
Hey guys, it's Lauren.
And Casey.
From Magnum B.I. I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast as much as we are, but we would really appreciate it if you guys would take the time to give us a follow or rate the podcast on Spotify.
To subscribe or like on YouTube.
Or check out any of our other social medias. It makes a really big difference helping us get the podcast out there to a wider audience, so if you have a second, we would really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, and enjoy the episode.
So Agatha Christie was born Agatha Mary Clarissa Miller, a four-name girl, on September 15th, 1890 in Devon, England. Mm-hmm. She was raised in an upper-middle-class family, and she was homeschooled in kind of an unorthodox way for the first few years of her life. Mm-hmm. So her mother didn't want Agatha to learn how to read until she turned 8 years old.
Well, that's ironic.
Yeah. And if you don't know, I should probably intro this. Agatha Christie is a hugely successful and popular crime fiction writer. Mm-hmm. I'll say later, but behind the Bible and the works of William Shakespeare, she's the third best-selling author of all time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's baller.
I know. Isn't that really cool?
That's so cool.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, her mother didn't want her to read until she turned 8. Mm-hmm. And at the age of 5, Agatha felt very unstimulated. Mm-hmm. So she taught herself how to read.
No fucking way!
We're girl bossing in here,
That's
Agatha.
So cool!
Isn't that cool?
Oh my god!
And this obviously started a lifelong obsession with books and reading and writing and all of that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Early in her life, her father died.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is the late 1890s, early 1900s, it drove the family into poverty.
Oh, God.
And Agatha was sent away to school.
Okay.
So she struggled when she was sent away to school to keep up with her academics and a social life because she'd been homeschooled and didn't learn how to read properly until she was 8.
Oh, no.
In 1905, she was sent to a boarding school in Paris, and she was trained in music with intentions of either being a pianist or an opera singer.
Okay.
But she didn't have the necessary music skills.
Oh, well, maybe if they taught her how to read sooner.
Yeah. Reading the notes would be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
At 18, Agatha wrote her first short story, which was called The House of Beauty.
Okay.
Many of her short stories included spiritual or mystery elements.
Ooh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But however, she was repeatedly denied by literary magazines and publishers.
Okay.
She just got rejection after rejection after rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who's currently trying to find a literary agent for a novel,
Yep.
I feel it.
Yep.
And it sucks.
Yep.
But maybe I will surpass Agatha, and I'll be third most of all time. Who knows?
You'll be number one. You'll top the Bible.
I'm over the Bible.
Casey Adrian, you heard it here first, folks.
So Agatha starts working on her first novel under a pseudonym, which is called Snow Upon the Desert.
Okay.
The book, again, like her short stories, was repeatedly rejected, but she persisted. Mm-hmm. She also had a string of failed relationships and a failed engagement.
Okay.
But she persisted.
Amen.
At 22, Agatha met a man named Archibald or Archie Christie. Mm-hmm. Archie was a lieutenant and a pilot in the Army, and he was raised in kind of a similar upper middle class family. Mm-hmm. In her autobiography, Agatha writes that Archie, quote, came my way quite soon in the dance. He was a tall, fair young man with crisp, curly hair, a rather interesting nose.
What?
Turned up, not down.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Pointy schnoz. And and a great air of careless confidence about him. He was introduced to me, asked for a couple of dances, and said that his friend had told him to look out for me. We got on together very well. He danced splendidly, and I danced again several more times with him. I enjoyed the evening thoroughly.
I mean, aside from her, like, insulting his nose and saying he was unusually confident.
No, carelessly confident.
It's like, you know what? That's actually very sweet.
Yeah.
You know?
She's like, this guy has an ugly nose, so I don't know why he's so confident. But we'll get to it also. We don't like Archie in this house.
Okay. I'm glad I picked up on that.
So don't feel bad.
Okay.
We'll get there very shortly.
Excellent. I can't wait.
Agatha and Archie fell in love very quickly. However, Agatha's mother warned her that he was a, quote, cade who would never be faithful.
Whoa!
Imagine someone says that. Your mom says that about someone, that they're a cade that'll never be faithful.
That's basically calling him a man whore.
Yeah, that's exactly what she called him.
That's, oh my God.
In 1920 speak, 1910 speak.
Damn.
So Archie was deployed to fight in World War I, and they were going to be apart for very long periods of time. Okay. Agatha also served as a nurse and in a pharmacy during the war.
Oh, wow.
Which was unusual for a woman of her upper middle class background. She later used this knowledge from her time in pharmacy and in medicine to help with the details in future murder novels.
That's sick.
Isn't that sick?
Yeah, that's crazy.
She, like, claimed it. Despite knowing that they would be apart for periods of time, and despite her mother's warnings, the two were married on Christmas Eve in 1914, only 3 months after meeting.
No.
No.
Isn't that incredibly fast for, like, the time period? Or am I just talking out of my ass?
Probably, unless she was pregnant.
Yeah, or like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
But, like, the parents are against it. That's fast by today's standards.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
And she came from an upper middle class family, so it's not like she was marrying because she, like, needed money or needed support, you know?
That's true, yeah. She was just like, this is the man for me. He has a weird nose. I like it.
And she was 22 or 23. She wasn't that old either. But,
oh, yes, she was young. She still had plenty of time.
Yep. Anyway.
Okay.
In 1919, so 5 years after they were married, Agatha gave birth to their first and only child, a daughter named Rosalind.
Ooh, lovely name.
Right? Isn't that pretty?
That's pretty.
So, trigger warning for the remainder of the episode. There are several mentions of suicide throughout this. And also a disclaimer, a lot of this information comes from 1920s newspapers, which are known for fabricating and sensationalizing stories to sell them. So some details might be a little like hyperbolized from the truth. I kind of like left out some information that just seemed way too ridiculous to be true.
Okay.
But a lot of it, like you'll see a lot of it, like the newspaper things, they like spin a tale.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they just like go for it.
Yeah, what was that they used to call it? Was it muckrakers, where they would just like come up with crazy shit? Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be interesting.
That term gave me like 7th grade global history flashbacks.
My little A-push brain is so happy right now.
It's the sepsis. It's like triggering something up there.
I have muck. There's muck in the story. It's everywhere.
What'd you call me? In 1920, Agatha got her first novel published.
Woo! Let's go, Agatha!
It was called The Mysterious Affair at Styles.
Okay.
The novel was denied by several publishers, but finally one of them picked it up. Again, this is so inspiring for me. And she actually wrote a mystery book because her older sister bet her that she couldn't write one. Her older sister was like, I bet you can't write a mystery.
Oh, that is such younger sibling energy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Watch me.
And
yep.
she did.
Yep. It was her first book to introduce a detective character named Hercule Poirot, who would later appear in 33 of her novels and over 50 short stories.
Holy shit. I didn't realize how prolific she was.
Oh, she wrote.
Yeah.
She wrote.
I mean, I knew, I read And Then There Were None in middle school, and I absolutely loved it, but I don't know much else about her.
No, to be honest, I've never read one of her books. And I feel bad saying that, but I haven't. So after publishing The Mysterious Affair at Styles, she signed a contract with the same publisher for 5 more books.
Nice.
Each of these books were wildly successful, and her rise to fame was very quick.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah.
Well, Casey, look at this.
Look at Agatha. Look at Agatha.
This could be you.
With all this new money, her and Archie and their daughter moved to Sunningdale, which is about an hour and a half outside of London.
Okay.
She actually named her house, her little like mini McMansion, Styles, after the mansion in her first novel.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute?
Oh,
yeah, that's really
that.
sweet. It was a beautiful home, but she was very modest with money. Her father dying when she was young and this putting them in poverty caused her to be really careful with money.
That's fair.
And she didn't want the same thing to happen to Rosalind. Now we're going to 1926.
Okay.
So this is 6 years after her first novel was published, and she really quickly rose to fame. She's 35 at this point. 1926 was a very, very, very bad year for Agatha.
Oh, no.
From beginning to end.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for her. She's very well known in the country at this point, but she's not really like a household name yet. So in April of 1926, Agatha's mother dies of bronchitis.
Oh.
Agatha was very close with her mother, so this like devastated her.
Yep.
And it caused a really severe case of writer's block.
Yeah, that'll do it. Depression's a bitch.
Yep.
It is a bitch.
And it's like when you're creating something, a lot of the times you can like channel that energy. And when you're really depressed, it can like help you get words out and stuff. But at the same time, when you're doing it for money and when you know this huge audience is going to look at it, it's like the last thing you want to do is work. Because that's work, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Papers reported that she had a, quote, breakdown and that she temporarily moved to a small village by herself to recover. In June, her novel, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, was published, which is often hailed as her magnum opus. It's like her, like, most cited, like, most respected, one of the best works of crime literature ever.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to have to read that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I watched like a booktuber try to solve it. Like they were reading it for the first time and they were trying to solve it. And the ending is crazy.
Okay.
Like Agatha really pulled something with this one.
Okay, don't spoil it. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah. But this is April, May, June. So this is 2 months after her mother died.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then in August, Archie asks her for a divorce.
Oh, you're kidding.
Now, papers at the time cited that her frugality and her like tight pockets caused the divorce. But the public didn't know this at this point. But Archie was having an affair with his secretary.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Mom's right. He's a cad.
Mom's right. He's a cad who can never be faithful.
There you go.
So he leaves her for his mistress 4 months after her mother, who disapproved of him, dies.
That fucker.
4 months.
Oh my God.
I hate him.
Ooh. Men have one thing, and that is the audacity.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's been true for as long as there have been human beings on this earth.
Say it again.
On God.
I have written under that, we hate Archie in this house.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck that guy.
So December 3rd, 1926, same year as all this. Agatha is now 36. It's been 8 months since her mother died and 4 months since Archie asked her for a divorce. The couple is still living together because divorce, currently and especially back then, took a long time.
Yes, yes.
But they fight all the time.
Yeah.
Archie tells Agatha on the weekend of December 3rd that he's going to spend the weekend with his friends. But Agatha's pissed because she knows that his mistress is going to be there.
Of course, yeah.
She just knows.
Of course, yep.
That night, after he leaves to go be with this woman, Agatha packs a bag. She kisses her 5-year-old daughter, Rosalind, goodnight, and she leaves a note with her secretary saying that she won't be returning the next day, and to cancel an engagement which she had coming up in the next few days.
Shit.
So she's essentially like, I'm getting out of town. I don't know when I'm going to be back. Cancel my engagements.
Wow.
And she tells the secretary that she will write her when she settles down somewhere and knows where she is.
Oh my God. Okay.
So around 9:45, she leaves and she disappears.
Wow.
For the next 11 days, no one knows where Agatha is.
Wow.
The media has a complete circus surrounding her disappearance. The papers are constantly printing about her. Her disappearance made the front page of the New York Times. On the 4th, however, the day after she left, her car was found abandoned in Guilford, which is about a half an hour outside of her home.
Okay.
So her car was found on the edge of a short cliff with its front wheels hanging over the edge.
Oh, no.
And she wasn't inside.
Oh, no.
So her car had essentially, like, started going down this cliff.
Oh.
And then got stuck.
Oh, chills. Oh, God.
And it's not like a Toyota Corolla with airbags. It's like a Ford whatever.
A rickety death trap.
Yeah. I mean, it appeared to have crashed, but then it got stuck in the bushes, so it couldn't tumble all the way down the cliff. I have written here, it reminds me of when our friend Josh hydroplaned his car into a whole field. And there's just this photo of his, I'm surprised he was fine.
Me too.
But anyway, in Agatha's car, the police found some clothes and a small briefcase filled with papers, and the headlights were left on.
Okay.
So after this, all weekend, 1,000 policemen and roughly 15,000 citizens searched for Agatha, but no one could find any trace of her.
Oh my God.
This was one of the largest manhunts that the country had ever seen, that the UK had ever seen, and it was the first time ever in history that airplanes were included in a manhunt.
Oh my God. Number one, her power.
Her power.
Her influence. Number
Right.
2, oh my God, this is so fucked up and sad.
I know. The Home Secretary at the time put a lot of pressure on the police to find her, and newspapers offered £100 reward, which would be about $800 today. Hundreds of letters came into the police saying that she had been seen, but none ever, amounted to anything. Back to frickin' Archie.
Oh God.
So Archie tells the police and the media that Agatha had been suffering from a mental breakdown, but that the couple hadn't been fighting.
Okay.
Like, dude, come on. And it's public knowledge at this point that he asked her for a divorce. So obviously they've been fighting. Nobody believes that they just are on good terms.
Yeah.
Friends of Agatha tell the media that she'd been really struggling at her home in Sunningdale. The New York Times reported that Agatha had told a friend, quote, "If I do not leave Sunningdale soon, Sunningdale will be the end of me."
Ugh. I mean, I can't even imagine living in the same house as your cheating piece of shit husband. And he's like, okay, bestie, you stay home with the baby. I'm going to go fuck my secretary.
Yep.
See you later.
And your mom just died. Your support system just died. You have a 5-year-old. You have to write all day, every day. Like, yeah.
I would be, number 1, so angry. Number 2, so sad.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel for her so much.
I know. I know. I totally get it. But after 3 days of searching, the investigation was abruptly called off.
Okay.
It was announced that Agatha's brother-in-law, Archie's brother, received a letter from Agatha saying that she was going to a Yorkshire spa for rest and treatment.
Honestly, yeah. Good.
Well, right. Good. That's what she deserves.
Yeah.
However, many people in the police department didn't believe that the letter was authentic.
Okay.
So the investigation was, again, started right back up.
Okay.
Archie brought their dog, like the family dog, to the scene of the car wreck. This is funny. Hoping that the dog would be able to follow her scent. But it just made the dog depressed and start whining.
No!
And all of the sources say that the dog, quote, whined pitifully. Pitifully?
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. They're probably like, the fuck this dog, bro. Like,
come on, man. Help us out a little.
Good bloodhound you are.
Yeah, come on.
Police, for some reason, believed that she was near the area where her car crashed. So search teams kept assembling around that area, and everyone was told to bring their dogs. Near the crash site, in addition to the briefcase and the few clothing items that they had found earlier, they found women's makeup, a fur coat, and a bottle of poison.
Oh, no.
But now, okay, I'm thinking the bottle of poison was a newspaper sensationalism thing.
Okay.
Because there's no future reference to the bottle of poison. And why would there just be a bottle of poison? But
for funsies.
I guess.
For intrigue.
So after about a week, there's still no sign of her.
Yeah.
Fellow mystery writers started helping with the search.
Okay.
One of them hired a psychic to help do a seance and find her.
Okay.
Then something really big hit the press.
Okay.
So I mentioned the letter which Agatha had left for her secretary and the letter which she'd written to her brother-in-law. But there was one more.
Okay.
Agatha left a letter for Archie. However, Archie refused to tell the media what was written in the letter, and he burnt it.
That fucker. Are you kidding me?
Like, shady, Archie.
That's
Are you not
awful.
worried at all about that?
What an asshole.
What an asshole.
Oh my God. Fuck Archie.
Yep. So, at this point, Agatha has been gone for a little over a week.
Okay.
Her books are selling better than ever.
No!
Yeah.
Capitalism at it again.
And I bet the first publishers who denied her were probably like, Jesus Christ,
They're
why didn't we...
tearing their hair out. They're like, God damn it, this missing woman.
We didn't know she was going to Gone Girl us. Like, God.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So people are buying her books and searching through them for clues of where she might have gone, thinking that she wrote like a code in the book or something.
Oh, okay. Fair, I guess.
Kind of like this is before television, so like...
Da Vinci Code type shit, you know.
The press is circulating a bunch of theories. So the main ones are that she committed suicide, that she was kidnapped, killed by her husband, or that she disappeared on purpose for a publicity stunt.
Okay.
Her secretary adamantly denied that she would have ever intentionally disappeared for this long without reaching out, because Agatha loved her daughter Rosalind very much.
Yeah.
One of the newspapers, and it's really funny, but they released like edited photos of Agatha dressed differently and dressed as a man. And they were like, she might be in London dressed as a gentleman.
But why?
And they just look like bad Snapchat filters. Like it's just her with like a hat drawn on top. Like it's really bad.
I can see it now.
And it's like, watch out for the rider.
Yeah.
So 12 days after she left home, this is so funny. 12 days after she left home, on December 15th, a banjo player at a swanky hotel in Yorkshire contacted the police.
Okay.
He said that one of the guests who had checked in under the name Mrs. Theresa Neal on December 4th very closely resembled Agatha.
Okay.
A little bit about this woman, Theresa Neal. So Theresa Neal was from Cape Town in South Africa.
Okay.
She was a mother who had recently lost a child.
Mm-hmm.
And after arriving at the hotel, Theresa Neal took out an ad in the newspaper saying, quote, "Friends and relatives of Theresa Neal, late of South Africa, please communicate." And then with an address to write a letter.
Okay.
So she was reaching out for her family to contact her.
Mm-hmm.
This banjo player saw Theresa Neal dancing in the hotel to a song called "Yes, We Have No Bananas."
Okay.
Which, for copyright, I can only play 10 seconds, but I want to play you 10 seconds of this "Yes, We Have No Bananas."
I'm so excited.
We have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
We have no bananas.
We have no bananas.
We have no bananas. We have no Agatha Christie. What?
So this banjo player calls the police and he's like, "Hey, this woman's doing the Charleston to Yes, We Have no Bananas.
Come and get her. Here's your girl.
We have no bananas."
You know what? I'm adding that to my rotation on Spotify. I'm going to be listening to that in the car on my way to work. No bananas.
If we ever get a copyright claim for the intro music to our podcast, we should change it to that.
Yeah, it's just 10 seconds of that guy going, "We have no bananas." Or it's just us doing a cover.
There's no background. It's just a cappella.
There's like snapping in the background.
So, anyway, he calls the police. He's like, "Hey, Theresa Neal, I think it's Agatha."
Okay.
So Archie and the police travel to Yorkshire, about a 5-hour drive from their home.
Okay.
Archie sits down at a table in the dining room of the hotel, and he watches as Theresa Neal walks into the room, takes her spot at another table across the room, and begins reading a newspaper. Mm-hmm. On the front cover of the newspaper Theresa Neal is reading is a story about Agatha.
Uh-huh.
Archie approaches Theresa, and Theresa doesn't recognize him, and she looks at him with a really puzzled look.
Yeah.
And says she doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
Theresa Neal was Agatha in disguise.
Whoa. Wait, are you serious?
Yep.
That's baller. That is
baller.
so stone cold. She's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are."
Yep. She gave him a stony stare.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. She is a badass.
I love her.
Oh.
So the couple, quote unquote, go back home to Sunningdale, where they're met by swarms of paparazzi.
Oh my God.
Now, keep in mind, Agatha is not a very public person.
Yeah.
In her life, she gave very, very few interviews, and she had really severe stage fright.
Oh.
But the public is very angry at her.
What?
They believe that this whole thing was just a publicity stunt, or that she was trying to frame her husband, like Gone Girl style,
Oh, jeez.
for murder. So Agatha, to get away from the paparazzi and also to get away from Archie, spends time in her sister's house, and then she takes a vacation to the Canary Islands to complete her recovery.
Okay.
In April of 26, so 2 years after this whole thing, her divorce is finalized, and Archie marries his mistress a week later.
That's so foul.
I hate him.
That is so foul.
And then they were together until he died. Or she died. One of them died.
That's literally the equivalent of, like, nowadays where it's like, you know, there's a girl, you know, if you're dating someone and it's like, "Oh, you know, this is just my boyfriend's girl best friend, but don't worry about her." And then y'all break up and they get together the next day. That is so fucked.
That's exactly what it is. That's like Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, exactly.
To bring it back.
Yeah, please don't copyright claim us.
Yeah, just for saying her name. So in the years following, Agatha never spoke about this whole thing. Even her own autobiography makes no reference to the disappearance or to her marriage to Archie. All she wrote on those two topics were, quote, "So after illness came sorrow, despair, and heartbreak. There is no need to dwell on it."
Oh my God. And that's coping before therapy.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that poor woman.
That's all she wrote about this whole disappearance thing. and about her marriage to the father of her child who cheated on her. That's all she wrote about it.
Oh, that just breaks my heart.
Only once in 1928, the same year that her divorce was finalized, did she actually speak about it to a reporter. Mm-hmm. She was still getting a lot of public hate about the whole thing 2 years later, with most people still thinking it was a publicity stunt.
Oh my God.
So she decided to talk about it once and only once. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to warn you again, there's a pretty heavy mention of suicide in this. Mm-hmm. So she told the Daily Mail that she was once driving in Guildford with her daughter when she saw a cliff and thought about driving over it. Mm-hmm. Because her daughter was in the car, she didn't. Mm-hmm. But the same night, on December 3rd, when Archie was going to be with his mistress for the weekend, she was so miserable that she left the note with her secretary, drove back to Guildford, and decided to drive her car off the cliff and kill herself. Mm-hmm. However, her car got stuck in the bushes and she hit her head really hard on the ceiling. Mm-hmm. She says that after this, after hitting her head, she got amnesia, completely forgot who she was, and genuinely believed that she was a woman named Theresa Neal from Cape Town.
Holy shit.
That's why she took out the ad in the newspaper as Theresa Neal, because she was like, okay, my name's Theresa Neal, I'm from South Africa, but I don't know who my family is, I don't know how to contact them. So she took out the ad in the newspaper to try to find them.
But there's like no real Theresa Neal, right?
There's no real Theresa. Okay, she just imagined that was who she was.
Right.
Several doctors confirmed this amnesia story, and many of her own biographers even believe that she suffered from memory loss during this time.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, there weren't even fucking seatbelts back then, were there?
Probably not.
So she hit her head real hard.
I mean, regardless, she must have hit her head really hard.
Yeah, no kidding.
Interestingly, also, Neal was the last name of Archie's mistress.
Oh, that is, yep. Icing on the cake.
Yep. So later, Agatha was remarried to an archaeologist in 1930, to whom she was married until her death. Mm-hmm. She was made a dame in 1971 for her contributions to literature.
Wow.
She was highly charitable. Mm-hmm. In her old age, Agatha enjoyed embroidery, gardening, and playing the piano. Mm-hmm. Agatha Christie died peacefully of natural causes on January 12th, 1976. Mm-hmm. This is really interesting. She actually left 2 unpublished novels in a safe deposit box, one for her daughter and one for her husband, to publish after her death.
Oh, wow.
So, like, leaving them a little, like, insurance kind of policy thing.
That's great. Were those ever published?
I think they were.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure they were.
Cool.
Today, her daughter Rosalind's son, so Agatha's grandson, is the CEO of Agatha Christie Limited, which is a private company that controls like the copyrights to her work and stuff.
Cool.
Kept it in the family.
Nice, as they should.
So about the whole disappearance thing.
Okay.
I don't have a good theory. Mm-hmm. So my idea, and I ran this by Lauren earlier, I'm just going to name off like the 6 most relevant facts of the case, and we're going to like talk it over and come up with one.
I'm excited.
A whodunit from the whodunit queen herself.
Oh, she would have loved this.
She would.
I hope at least, that we're doing this justice in some respect.
She's in heaven like, oh, they are doing a very good job.
Was that McGonagall?
Yes, I have no man.
Okay, and we've gone into offensive territory. Yes. She's no longer happy with us.
Sorry to all of our British fans.
Sorry, Agatha.
So before I name the 6 important facts, I want to name the big 3 theories that most people at the time or now believe. Mm-hmm. So the first and the most widely believed at the time was that she disappeared as a publicity stunt, even though her books at the time were already like widely popular.
Right.
The second is that she disappeared to frame or embarrass her husband. Mm-hmm. And the third is that she didn't truly get amnesia. She did get amnesia after driving her car off the cliff and thought she was Theresa Neal and yada. Yeah,
so we've got publicity stunt, frame the husband, and Agatha tells the truth.
Yeah, amnesia, Agatha tells the truth. Okay.
Let's go.
So the 6 facts that we know. Mm-hmm. 1, the letters.
Yes.
Agatha wrote 3 letters, one to her secretary saying that she was leaving town and she would write when she settled somewhere, one to her brother-in-law saying that she was going to the spa in Yorkshire, and the one which her husband burnt.
Right.
2, her car was crashed off the edge of a cliff. 3, the police closed the investigation after her brother-in-law found the letter saying that she was in Yorkshire, but it was reopened and attracted a huge media circus. 4, she was found 11 days later in a swanky hotel going by Theresa Neal. 5, she took out an ad in the newspaper looking for Theresa Neal's family. And 6, after the public was furious about the whole thing, and also after her career largely benefited from it, she insisted that she had amnesia and genuinely thought she was a woman named Theresa. Doctors have backed up this story. So, I feel like I want to believe the whole she ran away, either for publicity or just, like, to get out for a minute. But I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, my first thought is I wish that Archie hadn't burned that fucking letter. Because I was thinking this as we were discussing, you know, after she had been found again. I think I want to believe that was a, you know, well, I don't want to believe, but I assume that was like a suicide note. That was her being like, you know, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving. Goodbye. And I would assume that's why he burned it. Because, I mean, back then, mental health was so stigmatized that I don't imagine anyone would want to talk about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So her doing, you know, that one interview after the fact was her breaking her silence despite all the stigma and being like, look, this is something I genuinely struggled with.
Yeah.
And here's why I didn't want to talk about it. But the whole Theresa Neal thing adds a different layer to it. Like, that's so weird.
Because there's so many layers and none of them make sense with the other ones. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like my theory is that I think about the letter that he burnt, I think that something in that letter was incriminating.
Absolutely.
Like, I think because the public at that point didn't know that he was having an affair.
True.
So even if it was just that, like, there was some reason why he burnt that letter. So I feel like she was smart enough to know, okay, if I write this, he won't show the public. But what is it she didn't want the public to see?
That's a good question, because she used the mistress's last name as her little alias when she put out that newspaper ad. So that's so weird, because that in itself is a calling card, you know. Her husband would see the ad and be like, wait a fucking second.
Yeah.
Who is this Theresa Neal bitch? I have the other Neal in my bed right now. Like,
so, that's like a fuck you to her husband, too,
exactly.
if anything, you know?
And then her being like, sorry, I don't know who you are. Which, she's a badass for that.
Yep. But also, if she did truly lose her memory.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say she drove to the cliff.
Yes.
She was going to kill herself.
Yes.
And then she hit her head and she lost her memory.
Yes.
A, why would she have written the letter to her brother-in-law saying she was going to the spa in Yorkshire? B, why would she have told the secretary that she was going to come home? You know, like, there's just a lot of different... Yeah, and then if she was just going to the spa in Yorkshire, and that was the whole thing, and then they found her at the spa in Yorkshire, and she could have just been like, bro, I told you I was going to a spa in Yorkshire. Like, why did you make this whole fuss out of it?
I'm surprised that they didn't try to analyze the handwriting in the letters at all. Like, was that something that they would do back then?
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of, because when you first mentioned the letter to her brother, I was fully in the mindset that this was, you know, like, she killed herself.
Yeah.
And maybe her husband wrote the letter to try and cover it up, like maybe he was involved somehow. So I was thinking, you know, is that letter even credible?
Yeah.
Because we don't know that for sure either. I mean, this is probably about 100 years in the future.
No, it is. So, yeah, it's almost 100 years. It'll be in 4 years. It'll be 100 years.
So,
I mean, it's like, they probably had some kind of handwriting analysis, but it was probably really, like...
rudimentary.
Yeah. yeah.
That's so weird. Oh.
This one is just so crazy because it's like, I don't even feel like there are, like, solid theories I can lay out because each of them have such a hole. So...
I don't know. I mean, God.
She's a smart woman who knew how to plot mysteries.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe she plotted a mystery.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is an excellent way to leave a legacy. Here we are talking about it 100 years later, and you know, I really don't know, especially if, you know, even in fiction, much less real life, she was able to weave narratives to such a degree that, you know, a book YouTuber, like their whole thing is to analyze literature, is like, I have no clue.
Yeah, I know. And it only bolstered her fame at the time, too. I mean, people were buying her books just to try to find the clues. So, Agatha, wherever you are, whatever you did, just know that to this day, you are still leaving people stumped.
Absolutely.
And I think that might have even been what she wanted.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you got to give her credit. Maybe this was a publicity stunt. It would be a hell of a publicity stunt if that's the case.
I mean, it fully worked if it was. Yeah. And she embarrassed Archie. So
yeah, excellent.
She got what she wanted.
Yeah, she did.
Theresa Neal.
Wow, what a woman.
What a woman. So that was the story of Agatha Christie.
Damn.
So that was the story of Agatha Christie.
Casey, I'm mad at you.
Yeah, I know.
That was such a good case. I'm so sad there's not like a definite answer.
It's frustrating.
She really left us with a stinker.
She did. She really did. But I think she'd be happy that way, you know.
Yeah, I agree. You know, wherever she is.
Lauren, do you want to tell us what your episode for next week is going to be?
I think I do. Next week, I'm planning on doing a little retrospective on the Salem witch trials.
Spooky!
I know! Because I took a class on it, I think, a year and a half ago, called Women in Witchcraft, which was dissecting the Salem witch trials from a perspective of sociology and, like, taking the whole gendered aspect into it and, you know, discussing religious attitudes at the time and how those may have played into what happened in Massachusetts. So I'm going to try and do that justice and, like, hopefully make it interesting as well, because there's a lot to get into.
It's going to be so interesting.
It's going to be really good. I'm excited.
I love talking about the witch trials.
As a bisexual woman, I have to love witches, so here we are.
Naturally.
Naturally.
You have to have rats and love witches. You'd be burnt on a stake.
I would.
I just want to say.
With my crazy red hair and my rats.
And your rat disease.
Oh, I love it. I think I would make my evil witchy ancestors so happy.
You would?
I actually have a little bit of witchiness in my blood.
Do you?
Yeah, my grandmother on my mom's side and my grandmother on my dad's side both had, I think, an affinity for Reiki. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's supposed to be like, you can sense energy.
Oh.
Is sort of the sense that I got when my grandmother explained to it, because she said she used to work in a town hall, like back, I don't want to date the woman, but like
a
long time ago. And they had a psychic come in and like walk around the office and like go up to each of the little secretary girls working in the town hall, and she went up to my grandmother and she like reached out and she was like, "Give me your hands." And so she gave her hands and she's like, "You have an energy about you, a warmth." And she, like, did that to all of us, like, the cousins as a whole. And I was the only one who had it, so.
Oh, my God.
I'm actually pretty proud of that. I'm not going to lie.
That's cool, yeah.
So I like to joke that I have 2 Polish witch grandmas.
Oh, no.
No. I don't use my powers for evil.
Good.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
And then the rat bit you, and now you will.
Yeah, and now it's unlocked my villain origin story.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we're experiencing it together. It's awesome.
In real time. Isn't that exciting?
Damn. Well, I'm excited for your case. I'm very excited.
Oh, me too.
We've now gotten to the part of the episode where I try to guess Lauren's middle name.
Woohoo!
So I know it starts with a B.
Mm-hmm.
There, you can listen to the old episodes for a list of names that I know it is not. And she told me last time it ends in a Y.
That is not true.
No. Ends in a what?
Second letter is E.
Second letter is E.
B-E.
B-E. Okay. Well, I have a guess.
Okay.
Wait, but you said that's not true. That might mean that my guess is wrong, because my guess ends in a Y.
I mean, you can still try it.
Oh my God. You frustrate me. I wish I was clairvoyant.
Sorry, you're not a witch.
Betty.
Nope.
All right, I got that. Come on.
I know.
I'm getting there, though.
Every single time you get a little bit closer.
All right, well, that's... Okay. I'm going to go with one that doesn't end in a Y.
Nice.
Right. I feel like I'm playing Wordle. Anyway.
Honestly, yeah. How good are you at Wordle?
I'm pretty good at Wordle.
Yeah?
I usually get it in like 3 or 4.
Yeah. I don't always get it in 3 or 4, but my win rate is a 91, so I'm happy with that. Mm-hmm.
I'm an 88.
Oh.
It's awkward.
Well, I hope you get my middle name soon.
Hopefully. Maybe next time.
Maybe
Stay
next
tuned.
time. That's right.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas. Magnum B.I.
Bye.
Bye.